long before the first breath, before the embryo forms, before two people even come together in the act of creation, a choice is made. One of the most mysterious and often misunderstood truths hidden in esoteric philosophy is this: every soul chooses its own parents. This idea isn't just a spiritual sentiment. It's a deeply embedded secret that ancient mystics, sages, and forbidden books have whispered for centuries. Let's go back, far back, to the world before form. In the mystical traditions of Kabbalah, the Sefer Harazim, a secret book of angelic magic never meant for the uninitiated, describes a realm between the celestial and the earthly, where souls await incarnation. Here, a council of archangels presents the soul with the visions of potential lives, not in detail, but as emotional frequencies. Among those frequencies is a unique pull toward two specific energies. These are the souls who will become that spirit's mother and father. Not necessarily the best, not necessarily the most loving, but the most necessary for that soul's evolution. This sacred choice is echoed in the ancient Vedic Upanishads, especially in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where it is said that the soul, after reviewing its karmic impressions, gravitates toward a womb that aligns with its unfulfilled desires and unresolved debts. The womb is not a random destination. It is a karmic magnet, pulling the soul into the life it is meant to live next. But the most astonishing confirmations come from the forbidden texts. The books that were silenced, burned, or hidden for fear they would free the masses from victimhood. Take the Gospel of Thomas, one of the Gnostic texts buried in the sands of Nag Hammadi. In saying 84, Jesus says, "When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images that came into being before you, and that neither die nor are manifested, how much you will have to bear." This cryptic verse hints at pre-existence, the soul's awareness before entering the body. The Gnostics believe that we descend into the physical world not as punishment, but as an intentional dive into density, guided by choice and consent. In the Pistis Sophia, another Gnostic treasure, Jesus speaks directly to his disciples about the soul's descent. When the soul is to be born again into the world, it chooses the stars, the body, the parents, the moment, all in accordance with what it must still learn. The implication is powerful. Souls do not come to earth confused and helpless. They come with an invisible agreement, one that involves not only their own karma, but also a soul contract with those who give them life. One of the most veiled but symbolic references comes from the Bible itself. In Jeremiah 1:5, God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you." Though often interpreted religiously, mystics see this verse as proof of pre-incarnation consciousness. How could God know someone before they existed? Unless they did, in some other plane. Another forbidden text, the Book of Jubilees, once part of the Ethiopian Bible and now considered apocryphal, goes further. It details how souls are assigned to families based on celestial order and moral alignment. It even describes how souls wait for the proper generation to incarnate, meaning souls may wait centuries to be born to those specific parents who can activate their unique blueprint. In Eastern mysticism, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, Bardo Thodol, gives a step-by-step guide of the soul's journey after death and before rebirth. It says that in the Bardo of Becoming, the phase before reincarnation, the soul sees many potential couples in the act of union, but it does not choose through logic. It chooses through unresolved karma, vibrational familiarity, and the contract of lessons. It says, you will feel intense attraction or aversion. That is your signal. That is your karmic key. The parents are not always the ideal caregivers. Sometimes they are the exact wounds the soul needs to heal, or the mirrors it needs to grow with. In some African mystical traditions, like among the Yoruba people, a soul-to-be, called Ori Inu, is believed to visit the Hall of Destiny in the spirit realm. There, with the guidance of Orisha deities, the soul chooses not only its path but the exact lineage it will incarnate into. This is not a light decision. It is a sacred promise. In fact, there are even rituals where Yoruba mothers can communicate with the soul of the unborn child to confirm that it chose her and what its mission is. So why would a soul choose pain, or poverty, or parents who may abandon them? That is the mystery of soul evolution. Souls are not here to seek comfort. They are here to awaken. Sometimes, the soul needs a challenge so intense it can't go back to sleep. A father who is cold may awaken self-reliance. A mother who is emotionally unavailable may push the child towards self-love. A family that suppresses may ultimately spark the soul's rebellion into truth. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, "Many births you and I have passed, Arjuna. I know them all. You do not." Again, a direct reference to soul memory, and the implication that the soul's journey is a continuum, and our parents are just one chapter in a book with infinite pages. Modern spiritual psychology even echoes this. Renowned psychiatrist Dr. Michael Newton, in his best-selling book Journey of Souls, published transcripts of hypnotic regressions where patients vividly described choosing their parents before births. One subject described it this way: "I see them, my future parents. I know their strengths, I know their flaws, and I say yes because through them, I will remember who I am." Another subject said, "They won't understand me. But that's okay, it's not about them knowing me. It's about me knowing myself. Through them." Even in more mystical branches of Christianity, like the Essenes, there is belief in soul contracts and pre-incarnation decisions. The Dead Sea Scrolls make subtle references to the soul's descent from divine harmony into physical density. A descent guided not by punishment, but by preparation. So what does this mean for us? It means that your life, your family, your origins are not an accident. Whether you were born into love or into chaos, your soul chose. That doesn't mean what happened to you is your fault, but it does mean you're here for a reason larger than survival. You're here to transform the narrative, to alchemize your inheritance, to fulfill a contract written not with ink, but with starlight and silence. Every parent-child bond is sacred, even the broken ones, especially the broken ones, because through that fracture light can enter. And when you forgive your parents, or even just seek to understand them, you aren't just healing yourself. You're closing karmic loops that span generations. And perhaps the moment you forgive your parents is the moment your soul finally whispers, "Yes, that's why I chose them." So the next time you wonder why you were born into your particular family, remember this truth buried in sand, encoded in symbols, and spoken in dreams. You chose them. They chose you. And through each other, both of you will remember what you came here to become.